Hey everybody, welcome back to Leo's Progress. So a lot has changed in about a week and a half of working him. He actually had about 5 days off because he seemed to look like he got kicked in his back leg and was a little swollen and sore, so we gave him about 5 or 6 days off. So it's like one thing after another, I swear, of just they're going and then something happens, but I mean that's life with horses. So anyways, we've had about 4 or 5 really good rides on him and we're progressing really nicely. So from the last video we were just working on kind of collection with the inside and we're still doing the same. I am starting to incorporate riding with one hand, so I will work on tucking my inside elbow, picking my thumb up, getting him to kind of sidestep, getting that roundness. And when I want that roundness, again, like in that last video, I want that nose to drop and him just follow around and be soft throughout his whole body. So that's kind of what we're working on, but we're now adding it to the barrels, getting him to follow his nose. And just, so here I'm going to pick up my left hand and I want him to kind of sidestep as we move ahead, just like that, and then let him follow around and come around his nose. So now I'll think of moving my shoulders to get him to follow his nose, but my inside hand isn't going to change. So I want that nose, and I'm just going to look around, bump that nose a little bit, outside leg on, look around, see right there. Like that's kind of what we're going to be doing at a walk, trot, lope around the barrels, is just getting that full body control, different size circles, and so on. So he's a little lazy at a walk. I honestly realize I don't really like walking a whole lot, although you can accomplish a lot at a walk. Walking is good for just warming up. You don't want to like jump into stuff, because I always think about like, if you're in school, when you start class, you don't start with like the hardest concept. You kind of ease into it, get a little bit of like a warm up. So that's kind of what I do like to do with these guys as well, is just warm them up, get them ready, like, hey, we're going to be doing some things today. So I might even start going around the barrel, again, hitting all 4 corners, because we're doing a square. So I always like to think about that, when I approach the barrel, like right here, I'm going to push him forward, and I can use 2 hands, but also the idea is that like my 2 hands will become one. So how I use both hands is how it will feel the same like when I use one hand, if that makes sense. I really don't want to change anything. So if I need to use that outside rein to kind of balance him to get him to step out, but here, inside foot, inside hand, keeping that shape, I can use that outside rein to step out. And then I'll just look around and use my body a lot to ask for him to actually like come around the circles. So I'll do that the other way, and then we might just like kind of get into it and start trotting. Because he's just, I don't know, I find they're just lazy at a walk, and it's hard to have the momentum and movement to accomplish, like to just do the things. So walking's good, but I like to have a bit more momentum. So like at least a trot. So right here up to this corner, forward, pushing that outside front leg to this corner, then let them come around. Remember to keeping my body square, but kind of looking into it, pushing forward. So here again, I can now like open up either one hand or 2. It doesn't matter, because eventually it's gonna be one hand. So I'm just kind of playing with the concept now of using one hand and just kind of getting him to see where that feel is. So we're gonna trot. He's just being lazy. So even at a trot, we're just gonna warm up. I'm not gonna ask for a whole lot, but here I might start playing with the collection. So inside hand, there we go. Inside hand up to horn. I might need to jiggle that outside to get him to bring his nose down, and just to keep him connected, because I felt like when I was just using my inside, his shoulders were starting to pop out a little bit. So I want him to just respect and stay between my hands, so I'll use that outside. So here I might push him over here, kind of opening up that door, but I want to keep that nose and keep him soft, because I find, when you like are asking for this to like step out, they might want to just like get their nose back. So that was really nice. He stayed soft, kept his nose for me, and see how I can go one hand. My inside kind of goes towards my horn. I'm in my body thinking of like shoulders up and forward, outside hip is back, So like my body position is kind of like this. Like I'm tucking my elbow, like my back outside to like think of driving the hips, but kind of bringing the shoulders. Like I want free shoulders. So I want the shoulders really to be free, and that's where I get that softness and pushing that outside front leg like that. Outside front is going over here, and that's how we're going to get just that roundness, that full body, instead of like, it's not leaning into the circle, it's like rounding around the circle. I want everything to stay level, like literally think of a level, or I want it to stay level but just round. And I think he's going to have a very round style anyway, so if I can like play into that, because that's going to be really fast, if I get him to just follow his nose pushing up to those corners and see how he like right there is kind of the new thing, like making that little move on the backside is what we're working on now. So then we'll go this way. I'm going to inside foot, inside hand, outside hand to get him to collect, because I find he's just kind of drifting out a bit too much. Then I might close that outside door with my outside rein. Just kind of, I like to hinge my elbow, my outside elbow, and drop it while my inside hand stays kind of in the same spot. Because I really want that inside to stay here, just kind of in the center, thumb up, inside elbow tucked, so I can step out. But I still want that shape. Like he wants to kind of get a little bit stiff when we step out. So I mean, that's all the work in progress, because we want to keep that roundness. So here, if I want to go this way, it's like, see, he wants to kind of fight a little bit. That's okay. We'll just kind of inside leg bump, ask him, stay round. Trying to use my hips to also like steer the shoulders over here, hitting those corners. Outside rein a little bit, because he does like to, he's getting pretty noodly, like he's going to be very round horse. So if I just use my inside rein, he might just start getting a little too round and losing kind of like just the collection and just kind of drifting out. So I'll use my outside rein a little bit to just kind of bring him back. But eventually I'll try again going one-handed, see how he does. So here, forward, up to this corner. Just kind of feel it out for both of us. Like I'm trying to think about like, okay, what do we want this to feel like? There, that feels better. I find he's just getting a little bit like uncollected. So I'm just gonna stay here until I get like one nice circle where that shoulder forward, like the shoulder moving ahead, he's just a little heavy. Just want to pick up that shoulder. Like I don't want him to falling like this. I want that shoulder up. Just level, like think of a level, or literally I want it to stay flat, just round. So it's really not a lot of leaning, it's just, boy. See, this feels better. He's bringing his nose down a little bit and actually like kind of collecting. I just want him to do that the whole time. He kind of wants to get a little stiff, so I just kind of have to keep correcting him with a bit of the inside and like inside rein, getting that roundness. Follow that nose. And just also doing like the perfect circles, like perfect distance. It wasn't perfect this way, but that's okay. I'm unsure also like which direction we're gonna go when we actually go to the pattern. I kind of feel like he might be a lefty, because I just feel like his left turns are a little bit more difficult. So here, forward, get that nose. He's just kind of wanting to get it back a little bit. So I'm just going to pick up to the center, getting that nose, thinking of that outside front leg. See, it feels better. Like I want him to be a snake, if that makes sense. Like a C shape, I also like to think like if they're gonna be a C shape, that outside line, if you're gonna do like a bubble C, the inside line is a lot shorter than the outside. So I also like to think of that analogy where that outside C shape, I want that outside, like his outside body, just to be more round, like reaching, and the inside to be more contracted, just if you're gonna do like a bubble C, if that makes sense. So that was nice. So then I'll ask for like a little bit of that move. It's like I only ask for that little bit of a starting of that snap once I feel like I get him really reaching, hitting all of his corners, and then I'll ask him to make like that little snappy move once he's in that position to follow his nose. So here. And also the one thing, like if they're having a hard time like reaching around and getting momentum, like just ask for more momentum, like push them up for that corner, up, corner, forward. Like I'm kind of like encouraging him up these corners. So right here, this spot, I'll do it one more time, but on the back side of this barrel, if this were my second barrel and the third barrel's up there, I'm gonna push, and then right here, whew, but get him to like follow that nose, which was good. He almost did too much. So relax, body, point, forward, point, a little bit of outside leg, because he's kind of wanting to drift. And then let him follow his nose. So we kind of are just naturally going into the 3 barrel drill, like all lefts, all rights. So right about here, I'm going to ask for that shape, maybe try one-handed, point, look around with my shoulders. And it's being dramatic with my body cue of like me sitting straight looking ahead versus me turning into the circle. I like to like look at the barrel. So if you pay attention here with my shoulders, like they're kind of my steering wheel a little bit. So here I'm going to ask for that shape. So he kind of wants to fall in a little, which is fine. We want that shape but forward. So we want to ask for that shape but move ahead. So here, shape but forward, good. But see, now I'm going to look around. Good. And we're just going to keep doing that. Look where I want to go. My shoulders say here, start asking for shape. Look around. And he needs kind of that more forward motion, because if he just gets too round, he's losing his forward drive. So it's almost a little less roundness, more forward. Because we can get into that trouble where we're trying to pick them up, but we're almost doing like a half, like one rein stop, like where we're stopping their shoulders from moving. But see right there, it's like I just kind of want them to go ahead, like get out of there. I'm not going to pick him up and make him like, good. So that was better. He stayed honest, like he stood up while I asked for that shape. So shape, forward, and then here, look around. There, that was good. So looking with my shoulders, I'm going to start shaping, but forward. So there I kind of turned that like a 3rd barrel. So maybe we'll go the other way. So here, shape but ahead, point 1. Look around with my shoulders. And it might take a couple circles for you also to get like in tune, because I find like when I get comfortable going one direction, then I change direction, I feel like really awkward. So just give yourself a couple times around to be like, oh yeah, this is what it needs to feel like going this direction now. So ahead, look around. This is good to keep them accountable by using one hand, because I'm not holding him. Like I'm getting him to learn how to do it on his own without me needing to like really micromanage. So look where I'm going, my shoulders, gonna pick up, look around. Think of my inside leg ahead, my outside leg kind of back to keep that outside together. So I find this way is where he kind of like loses himself. So when I go one-handed, I really have to make sure that I'm like closing this outside, pushing forward, keeping those shoulders moving, and his nose round. So I don't want to have to micromanage. I want him to just kind of, that's okay. We'll go to the next one. So here, I might even look at the fence, think of that sidestep thing, and then ask him to come around. It just helps like to get your body in position. There, that was nicer. So here, one hand, I'm gonna think of sidestepping him out. It helps me get my body in position and his body prepared. And then here we just look around and we follow our nose. That was good. So get that nose a little bit. All right. Oh boy. Might just give him a second now. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that's where we're at. And then I'll do it at a lope. But I find going to the right, like maybe I need to do some stretches to get that feel of like being like this position where my outside leg is here, my inside leg's kind of open, and letting him kind of be free in the front end while his hind end stays like this, like just kind of riding like that. So I think what I'm going to do, because I just went to the left, and the left seems like our harder direction, I'm going to go to the left first. So hopefully we can kind of figure that out a little, get that 1% improvement, and then I'll go the other way. So I'll just kind of start how I always start, is just doing a casual circle, and then we'll kind of go into and like demand a little bit more. But I like to just kind of let him go loose rein, get the feel. That's the thing, I want accountability, so I don't want to be holding him the whole time. I'm going to ask for that shape, and maybe I do need to collect him with that outside rein. And then when I feel like I have that shape, I'll ask him to lope off. And same thing, like just let him just kind of move, asking for that shape but not demanding a whole lot. Because I find when I get the shape, he wants to drift out, so that's kind of what I need to work on with this direction specifically, is I might need to use that outside rein to hold him together. But it's like I want that nose in, but I also want it kind of down, like I want that full body shape while he kind of is like holding himself together. So that's where I might use that outside. And then here, maybe we're going to keep that shape, but here, now come in. This way it just feels a little bit messier, but it's okay. So shape, look around, maybe bounce that outside rein. So I have that inside shape with my inside hand, and then I might use my outside hand, kind of hinge my elbow to ask him to actually like collect. So my outside hand is just kind of hinging when I need to. See, this feels better. So right here, hinge. And he might not like it, which is okay. We're going to go on to the next one. Let him just out a bit. Okay. And here. And I mean, we're still learning our feet. Thinking of that outside. See, he thinks we're gonna stop. So think of that outside front leg reaching. So push up to those corners. Inside, I'm really using my inside leg here. Forward. See, he wants to just, there, round. Oh, whew. Good. So that's really hard for him. And that was really good. So we're going to stand for a minute and let him recover. But you see what I mean? Like, I want that roundness. So I was really using my inside, trying to like push everything ahead, using my body more so than my hands to like pick up. It's kind of like getting them forward, getting that roundness in that rib cage. So a lot of that inside foot, I was kind of sitting a lot on my inside pocket, trying to just get him to like free up and almost airplane. So we'll give him a minute and then we'll go the other way. Good boy. Good boy. So I also think it's important to like really reward that try, like letting him stand for a bit after he does something that's like pretty hard work. Gives him time to mentally process what you just did, and also physically, like he's coming back from being off for a while, so it's just nice anyways, no matter what their fitness level is, to just give them a bit of that time after you do something that's pretty demanding, to let them just think about it physically, mentally, and then he'll be a bit fresher when I like go the other direction, because also they get sore and they get tired. So when they're not doing something correctly, sometimes you just got to give them a break, let them, their muscles recover, and then try again, either that day later on, or like that ride later on, or even like the next day. Just let them have time to recover, because they're animals, they got muscles and all the things we have, so they can get sore and fatigued just like we can. So good boy. And it's also just making like happy horses, let them enjoy what they're doing, and when they get that reward and that recognition for their effort, then it's going to make them want to give that effort, because they're going to be seeking that reward, which in this case is like to stand still and just catch their breath. And because I have that philosophy, pretty much every horse that I ride and work with, they all really seek out that whoa. So the whoa is never like hardly even a training thing, because they're just eager and they're waiting for that cue of like when I stop riding and like stop pedaling them to move forward. They're like, hey, where's that stop? Because they want that break. So they're gonna work good for you, and they're also gonna have a really good stop because they want that, because they know what it means. It means that they get to have, you know, that reward is tied into it. So, but he's probably good, so we'll go the other direction. So I'll ask for that lope, just kind of let him like figure out his gait, loose rein, just kind of guide him. See if I get that shape nicely, which I do. And then when I feel like I have that, then I'll just kind of scissor my hips, outside leg back, inside leg forward, give him a kiss. Good boy. I might need to use that outside a little bit, just when he's getting a little strung out and feels like they're falling flat. Like when you get that nose, it feels like they're falling into the circle. But that outside rein is just kind of stability to just kind of hold them upright. just kind of hold him instead of, like I said, that leveler. I want level and round. I don't want him to be falling down. So that outside rein just kind of helps us like rebalance ourselves. So we're just standing up nice and square. So this feels good. He's doing good. So maybe we'll go to the barrels now. And I feel like this way he's just a lot more naturally, like feels more natural ability. So this might be our second and third barrel. So here I'm going to ask for shape, then look around. And it's going to take a couple circles of him to kind of like remember what we're doing. And easy. So up to the corners. Forward, forward. Ask. Hey, easy. It's not going to be pretty. He's pretty green. Hey. Good. That side front leg reaching up to those corners is still in my mind. Forward. And here, let him turn. So he's still learning that cue, like when I change my body and really look around. Forward, forward. Here, look around. Corner here. Hook into the circle. Forward. Here, look around. So he'll figure out how to make those moves. Good. So here, maybe I'll try one-handed just so I get my own body being accountable. Forward, outside leg. Here, look around. Gotta use a bit of that outside leg because he wants to just just doesn't know how to like hold himself. Easy. Look around. I would like one circle where he doesn't break. Right here. Ooh. Maybe we'll just give him a break anyways, because that's a lot for him. So give him a second to just catch his breath. And it's also finding like the right bit. So right now I have a rope gag 2-piece on him, and the other times I've had a 2-piece gag, but it was steel and shorter. And maybe that gives him a little bit more stability, where this one is a little too flimsy and he just doesn't have that stability with it because it's like a never-ending rope. So he might need something that just kind of can hold him up a bit more, just because he's going to be pretty noodly and bendy. So it might be something that's just a little bit stiffer for him that just gives him the stability, where this is very flimsy and doesn't offer a whole lot of that. So these are just things that you keep in mind when you're working a young horse, trying to figure out what's going to be best for them. So it's experimentation. We just experiment, try stuff. And even when they're younger, it's okay to put different things on, because they're not going to be surprised when you go to try something with the curb. If you've already used like something that had a light curb already, you're just kind of introducing things slowly, and then eventually nothing's going to be like a big deal or a huge surprise because you've already experimented at home doing a bunch of stuff. So yeah, think that's pretty much going to be almost it for today. What I might do after I just let him walk for a second, because he's pretty sweaty, is I might just like trot through the barrels and do it, like actually work it. So I probably, like the other days, I went to the left barrel first, so I think we might keep doing that. So this is, I don't want to say boring, but we're just going to go slow. Maybe we'll just walk the pattern once, let them cool out. But still, like for me, I want to think about as if this were like a competitive run. Like, where do I want my spots to be? Where do I want to look? So right now I'm thinking of just kind of shaping up, but going ahead. So I want him to have that shoulder elevated, but also keep that hip underneath of him. So we're going to kind of ride like this until I get in line with the first and second. So about right here, and then here I'm going to look in, let him come in, keeping that shoulder up, trying to keep that hip there. Point one, forward, forward, forward. Here, let him follow that nose. And then we're going to be kind of overturned a little bit. Then we're going to go over to the second. Think of the spot I want to go. Really, this is just good for muscle memory to think about like how I want to do this in a run. So nice and square, straight. Here, I might think of picking up, outside leg on a little, inside leg. Point one, turn in, forward, 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 turn, forward, forward to this point, and then let him get there. So see how he's just a little lazy? I really have to kind of encourage like the go. Mostly at a walk. Everything else he feels like he's got a bit of spunk to him, but just walking I feel like you just don't have that momentum, but it's also good to do it at a walk. So here, thinking of this for a run, push forward. Here I might sit deep at that shape, but go forward. Point one, ahead, pushing forward, keeping that shape. Point two, outside leg on, let him kind of find that and follow his nose. And honestly, I think I'm going to just leave it at that for today. That was quite a lot, I feel like, for him, and we're still getting back in shape. So I'm just going to find a spot in the middle of the arena. So see, I'll show my stop. So I'm like pedaling, moving forward. I'm just going to open my legs, and he's going to stop. For the backup, I'll pick up that wall, squeeze, say whoa. And the one thing I noticed when I was square, he's kind of drifting this way. He's not staying centered. So what I'm going to do is put this leg on him, and I want him to like back up straight. So I'm going to turn his hip, whoa. So I want him to like, there, it was okay. I want him to back up straight. So when I squeeze and ask, I want to feel like he's staying in between like the parallels of my reins, not drifting. So I felt like he was drifting over this way. That's why I'm going to turn his hip like this, turn his hip the other way. And then while I have his nose a little bit, ask for that backup. And hopefully I get him to like kind of move his hip. Just kind of helps like break them up, like free up their hind end as well. So, and this also helps going forward. Like if I can get like kind of break up his body, backing up and get him to be soft, then he will do it going forward. So that was better. He still's kind of tucking his hip into the right. So that's why I'm going to move his hip over to the left. Ho, ho. See what I mean? He's just, come on. Pretty lazy. Like, and I'm also looking in this direction. I'm kind of looking at my right foot. Oh, come on. I want him to pivot. There. But see, his front end's moving, which is not what I want. I just want his hind end. Just want his hind end. There, that was kind of better. I want his front end to not move and his ass to just spin around where he's kind of just all drifty. I'll give him a second. I'm going to try again. So I want his nose. Come on. There. And then at that point I could ask him to back up, and he might do it better. He's being just there. Oh, there. Okay, that was really good. I'm gonna get off. Because I don't really want to beat on him and pick on him, but it's like I'm still asking for something. Even though I love this horse so much, it's like we still have to do the things. So, anyways, that's it for this week's ride. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Progress Leo video.